What's up, you guys? Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm really excited to bring you today's video because I made some big changes actually with my own programs over the past couple weeks. So what today's video is going to cover is I'm going to tell you exactly why I decided to stop working with a coach, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to take my own nutrition into my own hands. If you stick around all the way to the end, then you're also going to have learned how you can take your nutrition into your own hands for any goal, whether or not you want to burn a little bit of body fat, get leaner, build a little bit of muscle, whatever it is, okay? But take a flexible dieting approach and basically enjoy your dieting experience a whole lot more, okay? You're also going to learn a special diet hack, okay, that if you apply it correctly, you can burn hundreds of extra calories in your day while eating roughly the same amount of food, okay? So you're not going to decrease your calories with this hack. You actually kind of just tweak the macros a little bit, and I'll explain exactly why you can burn 30% more calories from certain macronutrients, right? So in the meantime, make sure you smash that like button for me. It really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it as well. Drop a comment there after the video. I always go and respond to all the comments as well, right? And as surprisingly, 80% of the people that are watching this are actually not subscribed to the channel, okay? So make sure you subscribe because you're not gonna wanna miss all the awesome stuff that we've got coming your way here, okay? So below the video as well, there's gonna be some stuff in the description, so if you have time, feel free to check that out. But let's get right into it here. So basically, for the past while, since New Year's, I was working with a coach on a pretty restrictive kind of bodybuilding style diet. Everything was meal prepped, kind of measured out, stuff like that. And I followed it exactly for the time that I was on it, but I wasn't really enjoying myself, okay? So, we're in Alberta right here and we're experiencing a bit of a lockdown, and that lockdown has also eased up a little bit actually. So restaurants are back open, and honestly I wanted to go out, socialize over food a little bit, stuff like that, and not follow such a completely restrictive diet, right? And also with my experience, I know I can get results that are just as good, if not even a little bit better, because I'll be enjoying it more by changing things up a little bit, okay? Right, so basically what I've done is I took the diet that I was on and I just converted it into macros, which I'm really familiar with, right? And I kept my macros around there, right? So I count my calories at 3,900 calories. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'm still doing what I consider a bit of a recomp phase. Protein is at 275. My carbs are at 475. And fats are at 100, okay? So typically, if you're gonna do your own macros, right, what you're gonna wanna do is have about 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, depending on what your goals are. Fats, typically, you'll keep them low, somewhere in the range, of 35 grams of fat to 100 grams of fat, we'll say. Personally, me, I, think that I respond a little bit better to higher fat diets. I always feel, a little bit better throughout the day. I have more energy. I think my recovery is up, stuff like that too, right? So now what I'm gonna do is, on the whiteboard behind me, I'm gonna go into a couple different examples, right? One for male and one for female, of exactly how you could calculate your own calories and macros to the maintenance level, and then what you would do from that point there to tweak it, right? And then just before we get into it, do me a huge favor. I really, really appreciate it when you like and you comment on the video. I actually spend time to go respond to all the comments afterwards as well, right? So, and it really helps out the YouTube algorithm. So my hope there is that it will help push this video up and get it in front of someone else who would kind of need to see it and benefit from it as well, all right? So I really appreciate that, and I'll be responding to all the comments. So just go ahead, take a quick second and drop one, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so we're gonna break it down how you can do your own macros, right? So typically what you're gonna do is take your body weight and multiply that somewhere between 13 to 16 calories per pound of body weight. So I'll write that up here. Okay, so body weight in pounds times 13 to 16. Now, that's a rough estimate, okay? Because for me right now, I'm still building muscle, yes, but I'm losing body fat as well. And my calories are basically 19.5 times my body weight, right? 3,900 calories and about 200 pounds. After that, what you're gonna wanna do is make sure you're getting enough protein. So a good rule of thumb is about 1 gram per pound of body weight, but sometimes it ranges from 0.8 to 1.2 grams. And personally, I like to keep it a little closer to 1.5. As I said, I'm at about 275 grams of protein for myself every single day, right? So on the board here, boom, okay? Protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight, okay? With fats, typically you want to keep them low. Don't go any lower than 35, right? It can be a little bit harder, especially for girls. You know, they can have problems with their hair and stuff like that as well. So I even like to get them up closer to 100 anytime that I can, right? So fats, and then what you're gonna wanna do is fill the rest of your calories with carbs. Boom. And just so everyone knows as well, fats and carbs and proteins all have kind of different amounts of calories per gram. So fats has 9 calories per gram, carbs and proteins, they have the same, they have 4 calories per gram. So, okay. So now what we're gonna do is use an example of a male at about 185 pounds. So I'm gonna throw that up right there. Okay, so for the example of a male, 185 pounds, right? Multiply that by about 15, right? Assuming that a male is gonna have typically a little bit of a faster metabolism. Again, my calories are multiplied by about 19.5, so it can be different for everybody. Best thing to do is just to estimate at first and then make adjustments weekly as things go on based on how you feel, how you're looking, and you know what the numbers are saying, right? But so you multiply that by 15, now you're gonna have 2775 calories roughly, okay? So that in theory would be this person's maintenance calories. Take 185 protein, multiply by 4 calories per gram is giving you about 740 calories from protein. 80 grams of fat rather, with 9 calories per gram there is 720 calories from fat, 328 carbs multiplied by 4, 1312 there from the carbs, right? So 328 carbs, 185 protein and 80 fat, you know, can be a pretty enjoyable diet. Calories are still pretty high, lots of room for lots of things that you can enjoy there, right? It's gonna come to exactly 2772 calories there. So basically, in theory, what this person would do if they wanted to lose body fat is subtract 500 calories from that number. You probably would take it mostly from carbs, a little bit from fat. And then if you wanted to gain weight, you would, again, in theory, add about 500 calories to that number. Now, typically I find if you add 500 calories to that number, it's gonna be a little bit too much and you're gonna put on some body fat. So if you're trying to gain weight, I typically suggest, you know, no more than about 100 to 200 calories increase per week, depending on how you go. And gaining 1 pound of weight per week is really, really incredibly fast, right? You're not really going to be putting on muscle at a rate that fast. Again, personally, took me about 6 years to put on 70 pounds, and a lot of it did end up being body fat. Here I am about, 10 years later total, and I'm just about 100 or 200 pounds, which is roughly the same weight. But I've put on a lot more muscle, right? So it looked a lot different at the same weight. Okay. Now, what we'll do is get into the example for a female, and I'm going to use a female of about 135 pounds for this. So give me one quick second here. Okay, and so for the female, 135 pounds, right? Multiply that by about 13, just assuming that females typically have slower metabolism, especially when compared to males. It's going to give you about 1755 calories, okay? Now, 135 protein, same exact thing as for a male, no difference, right? 1 gram per pound of body weight, 45 fat, 202 carbs, add up all that and it gives you exactly 1753. So again, you got a couple hundred carbs there. It can be a pretty enjoyable diet there, and you would, in theory, take away about 500 pounds to start losing weight if you're a female and this was your weight, right? And in theory, you would add a little bit to gain. I would not recommend adding 500 calories at a time to this. Again, about 100 to 200 calories per week at the most, even as little as 50 calories, okay? Now, as promised, I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of a hack. So this will actually let you burn extra body fat throughout the day because it'll burn extra calories, right? So I'm gonna put it up there. So the hack's pretty simple, increasing the protein, right? Instead of having it as low as, 1 gram per pound of body weight, if you increase it to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, you'll actually burn more calories eating the same amount of calories, because protein has an effect when you eat it, right? Basically, when you eat protein, you burn about 20 to 30% of those calories, metabolizing it and breaking it down to where it needs to go, okay? So the same thing here, if we had this same meal, up the protein to 277.5 grams, then about 1,110 calories are coming from protein. Multiply that by about 0.3, 333 calories being burnt extra just from eating all that protein, which is an extra 111 calories compared to the first amount, just based on the extra protein that he's eating, right? Same thing here for the female, it would be 202.5 grams, 810 calories coming from protein, so about 243 being burnt there just from the protein, and an extra 80 every single day, okay? So I hope you guys have found this useful. I'm gonna throw up a shot basically of the board, right? So here you can see all the different calculations that I did, as well as the general guidelines there on the left. I hope you guys liked the video here. If you appreciated it, please help the channel out by, again, dropping that comment, smashing the like button, share the video with anyone that you think might benefit from it. And again, there's going to be a subscribe button popping up around here, as well as a link to a couple other videos. So watch some other things. I have created playlists on the channel recently, so let me know if you like that. And then until next time, guys, I will see you on the next video.